Oh, hey, y'all. Child. The Tejanos up the street is having a party. Y'all look at my shirt. What that say? Can y'all read that? It's probably backwards. But y'all got the point. Oh, y'all. So, which way do I want to turn? No, I want to turn this way. I want the sun on me. My life, my life, my life, my life. Okay, anyway. Y'all don't look at my hair. Uh, I just got through detangling, so I'm finna go in here. When I get through making this video, I'm finna go in here and wash. But I just detangled it and put it in these fat twists. So, being natural is a process. So, I decided to come on here because I think common sense is escaping people. I think people is just, I don't know. I don't know. But you see the title. So you already know. I'm finna have me some opinions that probably are not what most people, it's probably not going to be a popular opinion, let's put it away. Y'all seen these composters, these countertop composters? Let me say this. Just because they make a gadget, it's just like a saying. Y'all ever heard that saying? Just because they make it in your size don't mean bad. That's for real. They make just about everything you want in your size. That don't mean bad. Same thing go for them compost. These gadgets, period. Same thing. Just because they make a gadget, it don't mean bad. What do I mean by that? These countertop composters. I'm gonna ask y'all a question, and I want, if you can, just answer the question down in the comments. Do you really understand how composting works? Now, I want you to think long and hard about that. Can you verbalize how composting works clearly for a 5-year-old to understand it? Because that's how you can tell whether you know what you're talking about or not. If you can explain it and a 5-year-old can get it, then that means it's clear up here. Because if it's clear, it has to be clear here to be able to come out here. That's why a lot of people have no business in the classroom. It's not clear here, so when it come out here, it's gobbledygook, and the children don't know what you're talking about. Okay? Now, composting, the process of composting, why you compost, why compost is such a wonderful resource to have. Do you actually understand how the compost becomes compost? What separates compost from simple dirt? Do you honestly understand? Okay, now that we done said that, now I'm going to give you the answer. Let me say this. When it comes to composting, it's one of the most simple scientific processes. It's very, very simple. Composting, how you take things that are green matter and or brown matter to compost is very, very simple. I'm going to explain it to you. And then I'm going to explain to you why. These countertop composters are the dumbest thing I've ever seen in life, and it's another way to steal a gardener's money, in my opinion. The companies that are making them, if you're watching this, you're thieving. And you are the epitome of what's wrong with capitalism in this country. Capitalism makes it to where companies can rip you off. And if you're stupid enough, you'll fall for it. Now let me go ahead and say what I'm feeling say. So let's take kitchen waste. Let's take that. So let's say you've been cooking, you got the tops of your peppers, the core, your cabbage, or your lettuce, just whatever green kitchen waste, any vegetables, fruits, whatever that you may have, and you want to compost it. You take those items and you put them wherever. It doesn't matter if it's on the ground, on a tarp, in a container, whatever. You put them, and you let them break down. What happens when they break down? Number one, they naturally rot. So all the water wants to come out of them. If it's a watery type vegetable, let's say a pepper, the first thing that's going to happen is going to try to dehydrate first. The liquid is going to start to leach out of it. That's going to leave behind, whatever's left. But a lot of times as that liquid is coming out, what's drawn to it? If it's outside on the ground or in a container, worms are usually drawn to that because they eat those things. Your worms come in there and eat those things. If you don't have any worms, usually you have flies, any kind of little bugs that like that stuff. Roly-polies eat all that stuff. Any of these little bugs that decompose stuff, any of these little beetles, all that. Then on a microscopic level, you have bacteria and fungi working on that as well, eating and digesting. And it eventually, them little scraps that you put out there, it's gonna turn completely into something that looks like soil. Now, if you heard carefully what I said a while ago, pay close attention. So in an earthworm's gut, their guts are very similar to human guts. They're just much smaller. When they eat that in, it comes out. Now the difference is mammals have E. coli that comes out. That's not good for you to eat. It's normal for it to come out your back end. It ain't good for you to eat. You get sick. Earthworms, E. coli don't come out. But their worm castings or poop comes out with good bacteria on them. That's why worm castings are so prized. Not simply because it's digested and it's got nutrients, but because of the bacteria. For instance, you let worm castings get dry as a powder house, it won't have no bacteria and it won't have no biology. And the biology needs water to live. It needs water to live. Everything living needs water. So you have the nutrients plus the bacteria that are going to work in a symbiotic relationship. That means symbiotic means a relationship. They're going to work together. They're going to work in tandem with your plant's roots. So the roots, in the root zone where your roots are, the bacteria help facilitate or help the nutrients to get into the roots. Without those bacteria, can your plants uptake stuff? Yeah, but they uptake it a lot slower. That's why when you have good, healthy soils with those bacteria, it's a symbiotic relationship. It's the same thing with mycorrhiza. That's a fungi. That mycorrhiza facilitates a healthy root zone, and it helps facilitate the transfer of nutrients into and out of the roots. Because some roots, for instance, nitrogen fixers, they fix nitrogen in the soil. You need the bacteria and the fungi in order for that to for other plants to be able to uptake said nitrogen. So the bean plants or the legume plants are providing the nitrogen. If you got something planted next to it, say a melon, and you have the right bacteria and fungi, that allows that melon to be able to uptake those nutrients, water, all these different things. And it's a back and forth. It goes back and forth. Roots don't just suck up stuff. They give the soil stuff too. That's why those of us that cut our plants off at the ground and let the roots rot back into the ground, that's why it's important. Not only is it organic matter, but you're not ripping out all of the fungi and stuff that's attached to those roots, the mycorrhiza and the healthy bacteria. You're not ripping all that out of the soil too. You just cut it off at base level. All of it stays in the soil. You keep your soil healthy. So stop. I want to say stop ripping out your plants. Sometimes you have to, because I got a couple of things I'm going to have to rip out. But most of the time, I cut stuff off. I cut it off and leave it. It's hard. It's less work on your back too. Who won't do all that ripping and pulling and snatching stuff, especially when stuff big as this stuff is I got out here? Okay. That's why compost is important. It's because of not only the nutrients, but the healthy bacteria and all of that's in there too. Okay. Now, why am I saying all this? Hold on. Let me back up some too. The same goes for leaves and things. When leaves, because I'm not just going to talk about kitchen stuff. I'm talking about stuff that you can, like when I say shred your mail, compost your leaves and stuff. That stuff will break down into soil as well, but usually that stuff is facilitated because think about it, leaves that have fallen dry, paper that you shred, dry. You can add water, and by you adding water, bacteria will want to come and feast on that, but not as readily. When you moisten it, what that draws is the worms, the earthworms. So your browns per se is going to be more worm casting, but when you mix the browns and the greens, you get the best of both worlds. Okay? But either way it goes, the point to take home is that compost is not only nutrient rich, it is rich in bioactivity, meaning the fungi, the beneficial fungi, and the beneficial bacteria, and other beneficial microorganisms that you maybe can't see with the naked eye, because there are microorganisms that are what I'm saying is they're microscopic little animals. They live on your skin too, whether you know that or not. Because there's a little thing on your skin that sit up and kill bacteria. I forget what it's called, but you can see it under a microscope. You can see it walking around on you. So you germaphobes, ain't no need you. But anyway, so like for instance, I know what I can equate this to: dust mites. I'm sure most people are familiar with dust mites. I'm not saying dust mites are a good thing, because dust mites can cause problems. But a dust mite is a little animal, but he's microscopic. Same thing in your compost. You have microscopic little animals. I just can't think of the names of the stuff. It's been a long time. And it doesn't matter anyway. And the name does not matter. The concept matters. Because I need people to learn how to learn. Because some people, you can't see the trees for the forest. Now that we have the concept that compost is most beneficial because it has nutrients and beneficial biome, which is microscopic biologic activity in the soil. Countertop composters. How do they make compost? So I've seen several videos of people using this crap. And to anybody who has one, let me apologize in advance, because I'm probably going to say some stuff that you ain't going to like. And maybe you just hadn't thought it through. But I need for y'all to understand that not everything out here on the shelves needs to be bought. A lot of stuff is gimmicks. And maybe some of you are about this stuff to make content. Which if you do, I get it. It's a hustle. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's not how I get my hustle. Because I don't believe in hustling others. Because in a way, doing whatever you want to get content, in a way, some of y'all hustling others. And you getting over. Because you getting clicks on some stuff that's not really beneficial. I'm going to tell you why it's not beneficial. Countertop composters, how do they work? You put your little crap in there. It has a little thing that spins around that macerates or kind of chews up the stuff. Basically, it uses physical means to kind of break the stuff up into consistent little sizes. You shut the top down, lock it down, whatever. And you turn it on, and the thing heats up. And to my knowledge, it turns as well. So it stays hot for however long, and it turns. And I'm sure that when it gets hot, it gets above 100 degrees. I'm almost positive. Even if it gets above, if it gets above 100 degrees, I think it. What y'all think that heat? Like all of your healthy bacteria and stuff that should have been in that compost. Because what's the main way that you can kill bacteria or fungi or anything like that? What's the main way that you can kill it? Not Lysol, not bleach. Do those work? Yeah. Boil it. In hospital settings, how do they sterilize stuff? They put it in what's called an autoclave. Like those scalpels and stuff that's stainless steel and stuff. They're not throwing that stuff away after surgery. Those forceps, all that stuff, they're not throwing that away. They put it in an autoclave. You do the same thing in a lab. When you got petri dishes, you're growing live stuff, you cannot reuse that stuff. The stuff is contaminated. Contaminated. Those glass petri dishes and things, plastic, you put them in an autoclave. The autoclave, you shut it up and lock it up. The thing gets to a certain temperature, it only uses water, and it uses high temp water. It's usually steam. It steams the shit out of it, basically. Excuse my French, but that's how that works. So if you put all your little veggies in there with all they beneficial bacteria and stuff on it, lactobacillus, all that stuff, because all this stuff is found in anything you touch. It's on your hands. It's on everything. It's not a bad bacteria. There's lots of good bacteria. That stuff is on there. It macerates it up and turns the heat on and continues spinning and cooks it until it then looks like dirt. What you think you just did to all your healthy bacteria? Killed it. That's the answer. You just killed it. Not only that, if you watch these people, they fill that little drum 3/4 of the way full, if I'm not mistaken, to be almost full, not completely full, with all this green matter, and turn it on. And you can put paper in there too if you want, but it be mostly full. When they get through, they pour out a cup worth of compost. That little bin is the size of a small trash can. And they pour out a cup, about a cup, cup and a quarter, maybe a cup and a half if you're lucky, of little dried up, brown, dirt looking stuff. Let me ask you this: when you heat that stuff for, because I think it runs for over an hour. When you heat that stuff that long, what you think it do to the nutrients that was in there? Just wait. I'm just gonna wait. It's the same thing as when you cook your food to death. You know when I talk to y'all about cooking your food to death? You're cooking your nutrients are in molecules that are in a certain shape and they have chemical bonds. What that means is, like, okay, I'm gonna take a simple one. H2O. So it's 2 hydrogens and an oxygen, and they make a little, it's like a little V shape. It's 3 little molecules that make a water molecule. I mean 3 elements, 3 atoms, 2 elements, but 3 atoms, because 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen. But 3 atoms make a molecule. When you heat water above a certain temp, what happens to that molecule? It breaks the chemical bonds, and the oxygen separates off, and the hydrogen, and what does the water do? Evaporates off into the air. That's because it's gotten hot enough that the chemical bonds have been broken. It's no longer a liquid state, becomes steam, and then steam looks like it just kind of disappears into the air. That's because the hydrogen goes one way and the oxygen goes another way, and they're all separate now. They're no longer that little water molecule anymore. Heat can do a lot of stuff. Y'all be careful and pay attention. If heat can straighten your hair and actually damage it over time, when you improperly heating, there's details to that, but I just want to throw that out. If heat can break and damage the protein bonds in your hair, the protein in your hair is molecule too. If heat can break that, what you think it do to nutrients? Nutrients are the same way. Look up any nutrient structure. It's a molecule. Heat can break them 9 times out of 10. It's not much that heat can't break. So that being said, you cook all the bacteria and stuff out of this stuff, and then you probably broke all the nutrient bonds to where they won't, because nutrients have to be in a certain molecular form for plants to uptake them. If you follow the natural process, nature usually doesn't tear up its own playpen, if you get what I'm saying. If you watch the woods, leaves fall from the trees, they hit the ground, the worms eat them, they are not exposed to excessive heat, excessive pressure, excessive grinding, and all this different stuff, which the physical means I don't think does much. It's the heat for me, and the prolonged period of the heat, because I'm sure it's heating it up to a temperature that humans don't just walk around in. You get what I'm saying? There's a reason why in Arizona only certain things will live, because in the summertime, what does it get to? 100 and what? 20, 30? You see what I'm saying? That type of heat and then lack of moisture, it drives off anything. You have to create ecosystems in Arizona. And the same for any desert. I'm just using that because most of my viewers are American and they know that Arizona is more or less the desert. So that's why these countertop composters make no sense. I would love for somebody to do a test on it. I wish I had the equipment to do it. I would love for somebody to do a test on that mess that come out of those composters and tell me what the what the nutrition, like what's the breakdown, like what are the what how does it look when it, because I know it has no biology in it. So I would love to know what is the change, like from fresh, like for instance, if these peppers have X amount of, I'm just gonna pick something. If these peppers have X amount of nitrogen in them, after you put it through that process, how much nitrogen that's usable by your plants in your soil, because you're using this compost to grow in. How, what would be the, I would love to know. Not trying to be funny, I'm gonna say this. I feel like if you bought one of them, you got. And I have noticed, it's like everybody want to garden the super easy way, and composting ain't even hard. It ain't even hard. Who told y'all composting was hard? Huh? How many videos I done on composting? I don't turn my compost. Now, my compost take longer because I don't turn it. My compost is not a hot compost. I don't pay attention to, oh, so many greens, and it's smoking. No, I'm growing peas in my compost. That should tell you I don't do nothing to it. I just let it do what it do. Let nature do what it do. It may take a year. But if you got a garden like mine, you got enough green waste coming out. Let me tell you something else you could do. Why you can't compost in place? Robbie done showed y'all 89 million ways of how to take these pictures and these busted butter containers and all of this stuff, put it in your garden, put some little pieces in, put the top back on, and let that stuff break down in place. Why you can't do like Aisha? Dig your little hole, bury your little stuff, cover your little stuff up, and go about your business. Why does it have to be so hard? It's not hard. Why buy some contraption that I'm sure costs over $100? And I'm going to tell you why this pesters me so much, and then I'm going to let y'all go. If you black and you gardening, and if you something else, look, nothing against you, but I'm going to speak about my culture because I know my culture. If you black and you garden, black people have, since the dawn of time, we're the first agricultural scientists, the first farmers, the first, however you want to put it, the first somebody to put a seed in the soil and cultivate it. We're the first ones. We have habitually done that with nothing. No, nothing. In other words, what I'm saying is this little trend about sustainability. Africans were sustainable since the dawn of time because we're earth keepers. It is not in our nature to tear up the planet. Now, do some black people do it? Of course. But, black people get away from their ways, too. I'm not saying other cultures don't. Like I said, I'm going to speak about mine. That countertop compost ain't bit more sustainable than a man in the moon. You're not fostering the health of your soils, which is a sustainable practice. You are not giving an environment for earthworms and native creatures to proliferate in your soil. That is not a sustainable practice. You are buying yet another gadget, probably created in sweatshops in Asia. Those people are marginalized just like my people. It's not right. We have to stop inserting ourselves and doing things. And I know you can't do it all. I get it. You can't fix it all. You can't. I get it. I totally get it. I drive a car. That ain't sustainable. But I'm not where I want a horse and a buggy at this point. First of all, I ain't got no place to keep no horse. Ain't got no money for the feed. So, is what it is. But the little bit I can do, I will be conscious. And I will not subject probably child labor. And if it's not child labor, it's the poorest of the poor that work in these factories that make this crap. Because they know that as Americans, we'll buy any damn thing. And it ain't just black folk. That's I said Americans. I mean anybody in this country. They know that we consume out of all the countries in the world. We consume the most. We throw away the most. It's so wasteful. And as a gardener and an earth keeper, you should not be participating in that. You really shouldn't be. Not on levels like that. Do I believe in things that facilitate and help you garden a little bit easier? Yeah, I do. I have things that help me garden easier. But I ain't gonna lie, some stuff I still do it the hard way, you know. I don't have no tractors around here. I still water by hand because I still have not gotten my irrigation where I want it. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of different things that I do, and I do, you know, a little bit harder for my own personal reasons. But I'm just going to ask you to think about this. Going forward, a lot of these gadgets and a lot of this little mess that they're coming up with, this new mess, please understand they target a capitalistic country for this mess. I bet you if you go to certain countries, you would never, I bet you put money on it. If you went in Asia, I bet you they're not really selling them things in Asia. Because in our country, we're not even taught to critically think. I see people, old people, not critically thinking. Really? Just because you get old, you turn your brain off? Why? For what? Oh, because we're in America and we're one of the dumbest countries and our education system is one of the lowest? Or if not the lowest? You say what you want is developing countries whose educational system kick our educational system's ass. We must think, people. And maybe it's also because it's election time. I'm seeing more stupidity than it's just more than a little bit on the stupidity front. And it had me thinking like these people go out here and work and do all this stuff and you this stupid. Like I just don't understand. Do you go outside? Do you, child? I don't know. But all that being said, do what you want, buy what you want, because I ain't want to tell nobody what to do with their money. But think before you do that. Because that little cup, a little BS that you pouring out there, it ain't really helping your soil now. It's really not. On a conceptual level. Ooh, ladybug. Hey, ladybug. Ooh, flew off. Go get some aphids. It's some over there. Have fun. But yeah, if it were me, I'd stay away from that crap. Take that $100 and put it in your retirement account. Maybe that's the financial advisor in me speaking. Or take that $100 and put it on amendments for your garden. Take that $100 and, I don't know, put it on something you need. Put it on your kids' education or future. I shouldn't say education. Put it in a fund for your child so when they get older, they can make a decision. Do they want to try to start up a business? Do they want to go to school? Do they want to something? Please, like I said, I ain't want to tell you what to do with your money. Because I spend my money, I spend mine. And you spend yours, you spend yours. But for those that maybe hadn't thought about it, maybe this is food for thought. Anything you want to put down in the comment section, put out in the comment section. Till next time. See you guys later.